Peter's book is Profiles in Corruption, Abuse of Power by America's Progressive Elite. We have linked to it on my social sites, Mark Levin Show Facebook, Mark Levin Show Twitter. You can go directly to Amazon. It's available right now. You ought to grab it. Now let's get to the Bidens. Let's at least get a little taste of this, Peter. How many Bidens are we talking about here?
Well, there's 5. Think of the Jackson 5. These are the Biden 5. But they're all linked to corrupt deals and self-enrichment when Joe Biden was vice president of the United States. And, Mark, these are deals very similar to Hunter's. You know, remember the whole thing? Hunter had no experience in Ukraine, no experience in energy, but he got this sweetheart deal. You find the same thing replicated with his 2 brothers, James Biden and Frank Biden, his sister, Valerie Biden. And there's actually a deal also involving his daughter's husband, who actually launched a business in the Oval Office, of all places. So they, along with Hunter, make up the Biden 5, and this has been a corrupt family enterprise when Joe Biden was vice president of the United States.
And we'll get into this in more detail on Sunday night's program, of course, but it's an amazing thing how the media protect Biden, isn't it, Pete?
It is. It's really surprising. A complete lack of curiosity about this. You know, when I came on your show and when the book came out, Secret Empires, and we talked about the deal involving China, we talked about the deal involving Ukraine. The book was #1 on the New York Times bestseller list. I got no contact.
And by the way, it really took off. That was a very, very important subject. It got the attention of a lot of people. But anyway, go ahead.
Well, thank you, Mark. And no interest whatsoever from journalists. And you know, and I continue to ask if this were the Trump family, if Don Jr. had flown on Air Force One with his dad to China and signed a $1.5 billion private equity deal with the Chinese government, the media would be going ballistic. I'd be going ballistic. But of course, that hasn't happened. The Bidens did it, and for some reason, I think we all know the reason, they have a complete lack of interest in reporting on this stuff. And that's why it's so important that it be exposed and we share it with people. Because all this research, Mark, as you know, we don't use anonymous sources. There are journalists that love using anonymous sources. No anonymous sources. This is all follow the money. It's all based on corporate records, court documents, banking records from 7 different countries. And you can look at the material. You can know they got the deals. You can know they got paid. And then the question everybody has to ask is, does this look right or does this look wrong? And to my mind, it looks terribly wrong. And that's kind of where we are on this.
You know, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Let me ask Chuck Todd, you listen to this show, where the hell are you? Jake Tapper? Where are they? Are they not curious about this at all? You've done all the legwork here. They can challenge your investigations. They can bring you on, but they don't. They pretend you don't exist.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, let me give you one example from the Bidens that I think will just, sort of really surprise people. In June of 2011, Joe Biden goes to Barack Obama and says, I want you to meet with these company executives. They've started a new company. They don't have a website. It's only been around for 2 weeks. They don't have a business plan. Come and meet with these people in the Oval Office. So they go to the Oval Office. They get their pictures taken. These company executives put it up on the website. And the next day, believe it or not, this new young company gets featured in the Obama administration's big health data conference. And then over the course of the next 5 years, through the rest of the Obama administration, Joe Biden goes to this company that's called Startup Health and briefs investors, briefs their partners behind closed doors. Now,
unbelievable.
Yeah. Now, the chief medical officer of this company just happens to be married to Joe Biden's daughter. Mm-hmm. You would think this would be a classical example. Again, imagine if the Trumps did this, the outcry that would be there, the outcry I would have about it. But that hasn't happened. The Trumps haven't done that. The Bidens did it. And it's a clear example. You're launching a business from the Oval Office. You're using the White House. You're using the president as basically publicity material. Then you are going and you are briefing investors in your son-in-law's business privately on Obama health administration policy. And nobody in the mainstream media knew about this until we exposed it. We know about it, by the way, because the son-in-law gave an account of it in this specialty publication. So this is not my story. This is the son-in-law actually recounted this to other people. So that's just one example of the sort of thing we're talking about, the self-dealing of the Bidens, and no interest from the media in this.